So in the last 20 years has been a great journey for badminton. When we look at Indian badminton rise over the years, we've seen 1994, I would say, was one of the lowest points where India didn't send a team to Commonwealth Games. And India also, or badminton was removed from the list of priority sports in the country. So from there to the last few years where we won Olympic medals to World Championship medals to Thomas Cup victory in 2022 to Asian Team Championship medal. I think it's been a phenomenal rise of Indian badminton. One of the things in this entire journey which I have realized is for us to grow as a sport more than what we have done, we need to go beyond traditional people who come into the stadiums and the academies. We need to go scouting into places where education happens because our kids basically are in schools. And if schools can incorporate a culture of sport, then the number of people sport can affect will be phenomenal. And that's how this tie-up, along with my good friend Prabhakar Bhaskar and Abhinath Garu and Chairman Sir, actually has happened. The idea was to move, when I built this academy and we've produced these champions in the last, say, 20 odd years, the thing which was lacking for those players was education in school. And when you go to a school, you realize that there are many schools where, and I know this from surveys, that kids are not able to run one round in a ground. The physical fitness levels have gone considerably down over the last few years. So at this point of time, it's very important for us to bring education to sports persons and sports to education. Both of these are important. So this, for me, is a great, I'm so excited to be here because Queen Meera has this really good management which is talking about holistic health, holistic learning. It's talking about the value which sports brings to every child. I think it just adds to the ecosystem of sport, and the way the country needs to grow to the next level will be through a combination of education and sport for every child of our country. So that is what we are trying to address. It's a huge issue. It's a huge problem to solve. We are doing our small bit in wherever we can address this.
So what do you think of Tamil Nadu players?
Well, over the last few years, we've had some fantastic talent coming out of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has always been great talent. My friend here, Prabhakar, and we played 1985 NSTC together. So obviously we had talented players from then on. But many of the times we also see a lot of players from Tamil Nadu dropping out after the 12th or before the 10th, 12th segment. A lot of them drop out and pursue academics. But at least now I can see few parents and players take the push to do academics, secondary, and then sport as a primary if their players are doing well. So I see a big positive impact of that at the moment, and I do believe that the talent has always been there. It's also very nice to see players win today. Today the reference point of Tamil Nadu's players has been very good in the last few years. It's improved very well, and it's only a matter of time before we get to the next level.
Did the Tamil Nadu government have any talks, like what you are having in other states?
Yes.
What is that?
I think there have been certain conversations which are happening, but in general, I think the generic ecosystem of sport, if you have Badminton Association of India tournaments, Tamil Nadu definitely will be in the top 1, 2, 3 named number of entries coming into the tournament. So obviously the sport is very popular at a grassroots level, at under 13, under 15 levels, it's very popular. The moment we produce world level athletes, I'm sure a lot more people will take the sport up. But talent wise or players taking the sport up, I think it's very good.
So private schools are not willing to, this school is okay, other private schools are not motivating schools, they are want to become an educational person as a student. But what's your thought on that?
I think every country goes through these cycles. Today, if you go to the Western world, you really see every school, every parent, every kid investing in sport. They have trainings, they have tournaments, they have a structure at school level which is rampant all through. Unfortunately for us, in the beginning stages, the rush is that the ranks will get us jobs. That myth is also being broken. Few people and few organizations which are visionaries have realized that and said the education pattern is not good enough. The holistic learning which is supposed to build a child is not good enough happening through education alone. So there are teachers, there are parents, there are administrators, there are schools which are thinking on those lines. These are visionaries. Some of them are, let's not think, let us do what is safe, let us make our economic model stronger. So that kind of a thinking when you have, then you go with the traditional model. But very soon you'll realize that it is not what you learn in school, but how you learn and what you do with those learnings is what matters. And when you do such things, sports has a big role to play. And I'm sure the other schools will also have to fall in line, because not only are we talking about educating, but also opportunities in sport which are growing. So this is something which will be important.
Sir, have you identified any upcoming shuttlers in Tamil Nadu to coach as like a PVC? Have you any plan?
If you look at Rakshita Sri from Coimbatore, who's actually now top 50 in the women's singles, she's a 17-year-old. We've got another kid called Sai Vasan who's there, or Pranav Ram who's there, who's the sub-junior national bronze medalist. So there are a few players who are already there training at the academy who have done considerably well. So I do believe that many more in the pipeline, but there are about another 6 kids who are there whom I do believe have the potential to play the next level.
Do you have any separate for village students? City students are getting opportunities. They have the parents will support them to play, but village students not come up to play.
When we look at a sport like badminton, you need infrastructure which will be important. So I think in the last few years, when we started off with a few centers across the country. Today, the major cities have good infrastructure, but also now 2-tier towns have started having good infrastructure. So it's only a matter of time before it percolates further down. And the sport is such that you cannot have a raw person come and take the sport up on day one and we know it's talented. They still have to play at home, which is important. They have to play at their school, which is important. That is where you know even whether they have the hand-eye coordination and the mental ability to think like a badminton player. So it will be time. It's not like we pick 5 kids from rural place and then you come and play. No, it doesn't work. You need 100 kids from rural place. And then out of which you pick the 10 and the 1.
Do you have any plan like that?
Madurai is one plan to start off with. This is a spoke, and from here further as sub-centers we'll look at other places to go. So we are starting one in Karnataka as well. We have some in Mizoram. We actually had a very good success in bringing the level of Mizo kids from 2018, before they never have played top 16 in the country, to today we actually have champions coming from Mizoram. I think within 6 years we've been able to achieve it. So I think talent is available everywhere. It's for us to provide the right kind of infrastructure and the coaching.
So you said you are in conversation with the Tamil Nadu government, right?
Yes, there is somebody whom we are in touch with.
In Madurai, it's a tie-up with SVIT Tamil Nadu.
It's too early to say anything on that. I would rather not.
Academy will be coming up.
No, it's too early to say anything on that front. When it fructifies with government, when it fructifies, then you talk about it as well.
Too much about your academy, because you are present academy.
In
Your present academy.
in Hyderabad,
Yeah.
how
How many players are there? How many?
we have 23 badminton courts. We have a 200-meter running track, a swimming pool, and an accommodation for about 200 students at the academy.
Apart from infrastructure, what can be done by the state to make the sport more affordable? Still seen as a costly sport.
It is a costly sport. Unfortunately, rackets, shoes, shuttlecocks, stadiums are expensive. I'm sure the government should start looking at the government in the last 10 years, to be fair, has done very well. I think the kind of improvement we've seen in the way government has treated sport has been very good. So for me, I think it would be important that we just give them a little more time. It's everybody's responsibility. We expect grounds to be free. We expect sport to be free. We are not ready to pay coaches. We are not ready to pay infrastructure. We find it difficult to think we'll go out and write an examination, but we don't want to travel and pay for tournaments. So all these things need to come by in a more better evolved thinking. This will happen automatically. So I won't say that government needs to do so many things, because they're actually done quite well. Especially, I think Tamil Nadu government has done very well, to be fair. Central government under Modi ji has done phenomenally well. So I think government is doing its bit. Everybody, like we as players, coaches, institutions like Queen Mera have also started to look at sport differently. NGOs and corporates are also looking at sport differently. So I'm sure and confident that the coming years for sport will be very good.
Sir, association are not conducting many tournaments. So is it enough to grow the sports?
I think from what you've seen 5 years back to today, I think there's an improvement.
Do you have any plan to take like Premier League and hockey and kabaddi and cricket?
I think it's the jobs. There are a lot of things to look at, but I'm sure the Badminton Association of India is also looking at reviving the league, and also for a country of our size and diversity, I think a lot of things which are indigenous with our own thinking have to be developed. So good things have happened. I don't want to say anything which sounds as though things are not doing well. Lot of good things have happened. Yes, there are other additions we can talk about. Coaches are an important thing. We need to, people's interest in sport and champions and reference points have to be high. That's one thing. But most importantly, in the entire equation, every kid needs to play is the fundamental bottom line we need to understand. Champions, no champions, that's another side of the story. But every kid in society needs to play. We've grown alphabetically, we've grown numerically, we've gone down physically. If physical literacy is a word we can use, the country has gone up alphabetically, numerically, but our physical abilities have come down. Our grandparents are fitter than us, our parents are fitter than us, our children are not as fit as us. So they can squat and get up by themselves. The next generation, I'm not sure, will be able to do. So I think those things need to be addressed. Otherwise, we are getting into big problems coming in the future. Yeah.
So talented player getting representation to India from the talent. Is there any difficult to find representation as an Indian player?
Badminton is fair. You win, you go. So there might be issues that, say, if you are 18, 19, 20, they might pick a 20 instead of an 18. Somewhere it might happen. But it's a very clear, if you are a champion tomorrow in this tournament which is happening, you are a champion, you are a champion. So luckily, sports which have a very objective criteria, like individual sports, win or lose, I think these things are perfectly all right. Very little, because you win, you are a champion. If you have to take 2 people, winner, runner, you have to take. If you have to take 3 people, then which semi-finalist you can take is one doubt. But if you are winner, runner, nobody can stop you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
We also have one more gentleman, Ramesh coach, who's Dronacharya, and recently Deepti Jivanji Deepti won the bronze medal at the Paralympic Games, and also Jyoti Erraji, who won the Arjun Award this year, I think is also Ramesh's trainee. Among many others where last year is also Ramesh's trainee. Yeah. So this is the team of Gopi sir. And to have a closure note, present media friends, I know you're like one of the 4 pillars of the democracy, and other literacies, education alone. To make a human being as human being, you can't avoid sports. So that is the message what Sir is trying to give it to you. And as said by Sir, and if you look very seriously, the obesity level, I mean,